Let's jump right into this explainer and explore a truly fascinating, almost hidden concept. Have you ever wondered why some of the absolute most perceptive, emotionally intelligent people out there didn't learn their skills in classrooms or, through years of meditation? Instead, they developed them through pure survival necessity. Today, we're unpacking a really surprising fact: how a person's nervous system can literally be trained, not by choice, but by demanding early environments to instantly read rooms and think several steps ahead. It's a powerful way to summarize the key traits of something we call traumatic intelligence.
So, why do some people read rooms instantly? Picture this. You walk into a space, maybe it's a tense workplace meeting or just a quiet family gathering, and you immediately pick up on a sudden shift in tension, or you catch a fleeting microexpression in a fraction of a second. It honestly feels like a superpower, but it actually brings us to a profound psychological premise about how our minds adapt to the world around us.
Psychologists actually call this traumatic intelligence. It's this invisible but incredibly deep form of smart. It happens when your nervous system is trained by unpredictable early circumstances to think several steps ahead, basically just to feel safe. The foundational premise we're exploring today is that early adversity doesn't only wound people. In remarkably adaptable ways, it functionally sharpens them to manage daily life challenges.
Okay, let's move right into Section 1, the biology of survival.
Now, this exact developmental chain proves that early, complex environments physically wire the brain. Specifically, we're talking about how the brain processes survival cues differently in the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex, training them to detect subtle signals that most people completely miss. Think of it kind of like an involuntary hardware upgrade. It's almost like a high-tech internal security system where your brain is shaped early on to act as a highly tuned radar, ensuring you're always intensely aware of your surroundings.
Next up, Section 2, Mastering Social Cues.
You know when you sense a shift in energy before a single word is spoken? Well, it isn't magic, and it definitely isn't mystical intuition. Actually, scratch that, it is pure, rapid pattern recognition. Your brain developed this amazing ability to rapidly scan your everyday environment for emotional data because at some point in your life, that relentless scanning is what kept you safe. And this is the core of hyperempathy. It's that profound attunement where you notice someone is struggling even when they explicitly look at you and say, "I'm fine." You learn to feel the emotions of others, sometimes literally before they've even processed them themselves. And why? Because your childhood required you to closely track the moods of the adults around you just to navigate the day. Because understanding unpredictable people was absolutely essential, you almost compulsively became a student of human nature. You naturally analyze why people do what they do. You replay conversations searching for hidden meanings, and you predict responses based on someone's mood. This hyper-awareness makes you incredibly adaptable. It keeps you one step ahead in any daily emotional dynamic, whether that's navigating tricky workplace politics or quickly diffusing a conflict with a friend.
Moving along to Section 3, Thriving in Chaos.
Researchers describe this incredible phenomenon as stress inoculation. It basically means that when a sudden crisis hits in daily life, like say a major project failing at work or an unexpected emergency at home, you don't freeze. No way. You go completely calm and strategic. Your brain is perfectly calibrated to manage high-stakes situations because growing up, high stakes were just your normal.
The really fascinating takeaway here is how you process the exact same stressful event differently than others. What causes other people to panic, seeing it only as overwhelming chaos, is perceived by your finely tuned nervous system as a manageable puzzle that is ready to be solved. You effortlessly step into this calm, organized mode, assess the situation, and act without hesitation.
Which brings us to a highly developed sense of self-reliance. I love how it's perfectly captured by this mindset. Dependence felt risky, so competence became the default. This fierce independence was forged because relying on an unsupportive environment early on simply wasn't a safe option for you. Ultimately, it taught you how to set vital boundaries and handle things completely on your own terms.
Because of that background, you learn to internalize your resourcefulness. While others might frantically seek external guidance or validation during a daily crisis, you quietly look inward. You don't sit around waiting for a rescue. Instead, you build your own path, thriving independently and finding a profound sense of calm amidst the storm, using your competence as an internal anchor when things get turbulent.
Finally, let's look at Section 4, the depth of trust. It is absolutely vital that we reframe what others might quickly label as you being too sensitive or overthinking. These are not weaknesses dressed up as strengths. They are genuine cognitive and emotional adaptations that differ entirely from typical emotional growth patterns. They tell the story of a remarkably responsive human mind that was working tirelessly just to keep you safe.
Because of repeated emotional activation early in life, your amygdala became highly sensitized, so you don't just observe the world, you feel it at a profound frequency. Music hits differently, injustice bothers you on a totally visceral level, and you read deeply into daily decisions. It acts as this beautiful gift for sure, but we also have to acknowledge it means carrying the weight of the world, which can leave you vulnerable to daily emotional exhaustion.
This history of unpredictable signals perfectly explains why you might struggle to trust people easily. Cognitive psychologists call it adaptive skepticism. Look, it is absolutely not cynicism. It's a highly calibrated design by a brain that learned early on that not all safety signals were real. And the long-term benefit? It results in a naturally higher, way more protective threshold for social trust.
Now, while those built-in protective filters can sometimes feel a bit isolating in the moment, they serve an incredible long-term purpose. They guarantee that the connections you do finally allow into your life aren't superficial at all. They are built on incredibly solid, honest, and resilient foundations. So, while you definitely do not hand out trust easily, once someone actually earns it, your loyalty is profound and deeply unwavering. You create bonds that are cautious initially, but exceptionally resilient in the long run, proving that your high emotional intelligence ultimately fosters deep, meaningful social trust.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with this question. How does recognizing your trauma adaptations redefine your understanding of your own intelligence? I want you to consider how acknowledging these powerful, biologically ingrained survival skills can beautifully change the way we view our resilience. What you might have viewed as baggage your whole life is actually a complex, profoundly powerful form of intelligence. Keep trusting your incredible instincts, and please recognize the amazing inner strength you carry with you every single day.